The Veterans Affairs Healthcare Network shows that officials actually knew that the records of doctors' appointments were being manipulated years ago.
And some VA workers right here in New Mexico were canceling the appointments just to make the wait time seem more acceptable. The audit is from 2012. It found VA hospitals and clinics in Arizona, New Mexico, and West Texas violated department policy and created inaccurate records of how long veterans had to wait for medical care. The Albuquerque Journal found proof of rigged scheduling and other problems with an investigation back in 2013. Stories about dozens of veterans dying while waiting for medical care in Arizona triggered the national outrage with the VA healthcare system and the investigation that is going on right now. Well, this morning there are still a lot of unanswered questions about a police protest in Albuquerque this weekend.
And the questions aren't about the protesters or what they were doing, but rather about an undercover cop who was there. This is what the protests that happened at Roosevelt Park on Saturday look like. We've learned Albuquerque police sent undercover officers to blend in with the protesters, including at least one who's with the Criminal Intelligence Unit. So we asked APD why this undercover cop was at the protest, and all it would say is that the undercover officers were there to protect the community and people's right to free speech. Some protesters disagreed, though.
This is inappropriate that they would be putting us under surveillance because we were peaceful and we have the right to assemble, and that they were aware that we were doing this. We were in communication with them.
Now, we are not saying who the undercover officer is or showing him, because that could affect cases he is on right now. Well, news all about the problems plaguing the Albuquerque Police Department is spreading to international news outlets.
Yeah, did you see this? CNN recently aired a 6-minute special on the department's problems, putting Police Chief Gordon Eden and the district attorney in the spotlight.
What you're about to see is horrific.
CNN's report here started out with the unedited shooting of homeless camper James Boyd in the foothills back in March. He was killed as it looks like he turned away from police officers. Then CNN asked Police Chief Eden why no officers have been paying the price for the 36 police shootings here since 2010, shootings that have led to payouts of $30 million and counting.
There has not been a single prosecution of a police officer. And from what I understand, there might not have been any discipline doled out to a police officer.
I can only speak to since I've been here. I can't speak at all to what has happened in the past, but I can assure you that through the changes that we've made in our internal affairs process, we're holding people to a higher degree of accountability.
We're dropping. I mean, it was horrific.
Remember, Chief Gordon Eden first called the James Boyd shooting, the one in the foothills, justified, but quickly backtracked. The FBI is now investigating whether the officers involved should be charged. CNN also pressed District Attorney Carrie Brandenburg, whom you saw a second ago, about why she has never charged any officer involved in any of these shootings. Again, 36 in the last 4 years. Ms. Brandenburg says her office goes by the police reports from APD, which since at least 2010 have never ruled any of the department's shootings as unjustified. Well, 5:34 now. Tomorrow, Bernalillo County Commissioners are set to vote on a plan to help deal with the mentally ill here.
It is a proposal that calls for money to fund more resources for the mentally ill who have been released from MDC. If approved, the vote would buy 75 beds and create a supportive aftercare program. The issue surfaced after the scathing DOJ report on APD was released in April. Commissioner Maggie Hart Stebbins says inmates with mental illness costs local governments a lot of money because they tend to cycle back into crime and end up back in jail.
A lot of these people need more, and so we're stepping up, and we as a local government are saying, you know, we recognize the cost and we're ready to do something about it.
This project has been in the works for about 8 months. The county is working with the city of Albuquerque and mental health providers.
Well, friends and loved ones of a teen from northern New Mexico who was shot to death by police say there is a lot we can learn from his death. Many held a vigil for Victor Villalpando, where he was shot back on June 9th. Villalpando was just 16 years old. Police say he called 911 about a suspicious person, then gave them a description of the clothes he was wearing, saying that person was armed. Last night, a march and prayer service was held in the teen's honor. Villalpando's friends from an art center he went to say his death comes with a valuable lesson.
Victor left us with a gift, and the gift was to really look at our systems here in this region, Rio Arriba County, Española, and to improve them.
All right, all the people here marched together in what they call solidarity. Investigators are still taking a look at Villalpando's death. Liz.
Police say it may have been a medical episode that caused the driver to cross into oncoming traffic, causing a 7-car pileup, leaving one person dead. It happened Sunday afternoon at the intersection of New Mexico 550 and 528 in Bernalillo near the Santa Ana Star Casino. Investigators say the crash included 7 cars and a motorcycle. It started when a car crossed into oncoming traffic, causing the first crash, which eventually led to a multi-car pileup. The westbound lanes of 550 were closed for hours. He's accused of crashing a stolen car into a bus, but his story is that he was trying to give the car back. Jose Zamora went before a judge yesterday morning. According to a criminal complaint on Friday, APD tried to pull over Zamora after he took off, but instead of stopping, he allegedly took off running and left the car in drive. Officers say that's when the stolen vehicle crashed into the bus. To make matters worse, police say they found a little girl inside the vehicle. Zamora has admitted to stealing the car. Police say 2 other men who were in the stolen car were arrested.
Well, school leaders in one city here in New Mexico are now trying to crack down on students who miss too many days of school, and they're getting the police and courts involved in this. According to the Santa Fe New Mexican, that city has one of the highest truancy rates in the whole state. Get this, a third of high schoolers miss at least 10 days of school every year. A new plan from the school board would have the school administrators calling parents and sending home letters when a student misses 3 days. At that point, the student could be banned from extracurricular activities. 5 unexcused absences would call for a teacher-parent meeting with a juvenile probation officer, and after 10 absences, the student would go to truancy court.